In this video, we're going to talk about setting up sending. This is probably the most important video you're going to watch here, so make sure that you pay attention closely because some of these settings can be a little tricky for people who are not technically experienced. Also realize that if you don't want to deal with this at all, either purchase one of our subscriptions for either the SMTP relay or dedicated server, and we'll set it up for you for free, or for a nominal charge we'll be happy to set up any other third-party service for you if you like. Anyway, let me get into this so that you can see what I'm talking about. First thing we're going to do is set up our sending servers. Sending servers or any SMTP service that you use. For example, you'll see here we have two different Amazons. One is for an SMTP, because when you use Amazon Simple Email Service, they give you the option to use either their API or the SMTP. Either will work. Same goes with SendGrid, Mailgun, Elastic Mail, and SparkPost. And then if all else fails, as long as you know the SMTP settings, you can set up an SMTP server just using their host name, the SMTP username, the password, what port it uses, and any encryption methods that it might use. So let's get back to this because I can kind of show you with one of the ones I have set up, which is easier. Like I said, the host name, all the other stuff here, and then once you do it, you can click on test connection and it'll say sending server is valid. And if you like, you can send a test email to yourself or someone else just to see. Now, once you get into the configuration settings below, you're going to have to give it a name. It can be any name you want, as long as you know what it means. What your default from email address will be. We provide a bounce handler and feedback loop. What a bounce handler is any emails that bounce, that are hard bounces. In other words, invalid email addresses, and they come back. So it removes them automatically so that you don't get penalized and blacklisted because of bounces. Then we have the feedback loop. The feedback loop is for complaints. So if somebody complains that it's spam or whatever, they're automatically removed and added to your blacklist. And then you can change the speed that you want to send through. That's totally up to you. In the early days, I would strongly recommend, unless you're using one of the third-party services we just described above, that you gradually build up to it, and I'll get into that in a little more in a little while, because I created a feature now that allows you to be able to actually slowly increase your volume without having to babysit it. But I'll get more into that in another video. And then your sending identity, you can add your email here, whatever you want it to be, and that would be the email and domain of where you're sending from. Now once you do that, like for example, let's do it real quick here, Steve at, let's just make up a domain here, test.com, and we'll hit add, and boom, as you can see, it added it for me. And then you can make it available for all or whatever, or delete it, which is what I'm going to do. So anyway, like I said, it's a pretty simple setup, but it takes a little bit of moxie to figure it all out. However, if you want to use one of the third-party senders like we were talking about earlier, all you do is you click on choose. Like for example, let's just say you're using Amazon SES and you're using the API. All you do is you just put your access key and your secret key in here, select the region from Amazon, and that's it. Save it. You're done. It's very simple. Most of these that have APIs are very simple to set up, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem. Now this one gets a little more technical, so you need to really pay close attention here. When you're adding a new sending domain, you're just going to put the domain name in like I did before, test.com, com, and you just hit save. Simple. Now here's the instructions for this. You can read them if you like, but essentially what it means is you're going to have to go into wherever your DNS is controlled from for that domain. So if it's GoDaddy, Namecheap, 1&1, or any other service, they're all pretty much similar in the way they behave, but they all have slightly different ways of doing it. So what you would do is you would copy this, you would make a text record, and this would be the host name, and this would be the value that would be put in there. Same with this is a DKIM record. It's also a text record. You would select this would be the host name, and do not use the quotes. Anything in between the quotes, add that, but do not include the quotes. And then once you do that, click verify now, and if you set it up correctly, it'll come back as verified, which, let me show you what that looks like. As you see here, once it's verified, you get these little check marks and it'll become active. And I'll give you a peek inside of mine, show you how it's set up. Same thing, see? It's all the same. So it's simple, but like I said, you got to pay attention to what you're doing because you're playing with DNS records, so you got to be careful here. Next on the agenda is adding a sender identity. Now, all you do is you click on this. You use the name, whatever name you're going to use to be from. Like for me, it's Steve Haas, and we'll make an email address of steve@test.com. Click save, and there's the information. Now what's going to happen is it will automatically generate a verification email that will go to that email address. Once you click the link, and make sure to check spam too, because sometimes they go to spam or other folders, so make sure to check. But once you receive it, you click the link, and then boom, it's automatically verified. And that's all there is to sending identity. Very simple. Now this one's pretty important because this is where your link tracking is going to be, so that you get the right statistics and everything in your campaigns. So you want to make sure you get this right. So you go in here and you click on create a tracking domain. It could be just about anything, and I'll come back here and show you the one I have. It just says the tracking domain was verified. Go back. Oh well. Didn't expect that. But anyway, on the tracking domain, like I said, it tells you right here, using a tracking domain causes the links and URLs in your emails to be overwritten if they came from blah 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 blah. You can read all that yourself. Basically all it's doing is verifying. So this would be your domain name. So let's just say test.com. Click save, and you can view it here, and it tells you what you have to do. You need to download the tracking script below. This is your tracking, oops, my bad, tracking script right here. You'll save it, and then what you need to do is there's two files that it sends. One goes as index.php and the other one goes into your HT access. Make sure both files are uploaded to the tracking domain's hosting server. So you would need to go into like cPanel or whatever and add that to your actual domain. So once you have that, then you can click test, and it will come back and show you, like I showed you a minute ago when I got a little ahead of myself. It just shows you that the tracking domain was verified. Okay. Next up is blacklist. This is where you can import a blacklist from another service. So let's say that you were with Aweber or some place like that, and people that had been blacklisted or unsubscribed, you want to import those here. You just go click import, and then you find the file that you downloaded from them, and all you need is just the email addresses. No headings, none of that stuff. Just a text file is fine with just the emails listed, and they'll go into your blacklist. What the blacklist will do is it will prevent you from accidentally sending emails to those people again. because they've either unsubscribed or they've complained. Either way, you don't want to be messing with them. Best just to leave them alone. Now, this is going to conclude this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about campaigns and automations and so forth. So I know you're anxious to get started, but like I said, you got to get this down first before you can do pretty much anything else. Or, like I said, if you want, for a nominal fee, we'll be happy to set it up for you. One other thing I failed to mention, but I will mention it before we conclude, is you can actually have as many sending servers and sending domains as you want. And you can set them so that you can choose either which one you want. Like, for example, let's say that you have one of our services, and then you decide that you also want to use SendGrid or Mailgun or any of the others. You can add them too. You can add as many servers as you want, or SMTP servers as you want. And the same with sending domains. You can use as many as you want. Same goes with sending identities. You can have as many of these as you like, and so forth. So that's pretty cool. And you can set them up to where you can even say 25% go through this one, 25% go through that one, and so forth. Or 50-50, or 33, and 33, whatever ratios you want to do, so that way you don't overburden any particular server or risk sending too many emails at once. So thought that was a helpful little thing that we put in there just to make it happen for you. So I'll see you in the next video.